Welcome everyone. My name is Art with No Code Devs, and today, super excited to have Bright Data on this call. We're going to go through some of the features of the Bright Data platform, what you can do with it from a no code perspective, along as with some other features. And really excited to have some folks from Bright Data on the line. We have Zach and Rafael, as well as Elena. She's not on the video, but she will be in the chat if you have any questions. The sort of format for this is they'll go through a presentation and a demo, I believe, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. You can also ask questions in the chat as we go. We'll answer them in the chat if we can. If not, we'll do the Q&A at the end. Again, this is being recorded. We'll publish it within 24 hours on our YouTube channel, and we'll email it out next week to everyone who registered. So with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Art. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Greatly appreciate it. So today, we're just going to talk about how to master code-free web data collection with Bright Data's advanced solutions. I'm Zechariah. You can call me Zach. I'm a regional sales manager based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I help maintain and grow the North American region within Bright Data. So why web data collection? The internet is the largest public database in the history of mankind. It is where our reality is reflected or created in real time. The graph that you see right here is going to be projected consumption, captured data from 2010 projected to 2025. And it looks like we're going to be at 181 zettabytes by 2025, which is a tremendous amount of data. Bright Data in a snapshot. Bright Data is the world's #1 data platform. Fortune 500 companies, academic institutions, and small businesses rely on Bright Data solutions to retrieve public web data in the most efficient, reliable, and flexible way, so they can research, monitor, and analyze it to make better decisions. Thousands of customers, like I said, including Fortune 500, are included. We have 450 employees worldwide. Our main offices are in Israel and Chelsea, New York. Beautiful location. The Bright Data Initiative is a data-driven organization that we use your data for good. And we also implement industry-first comprehensive compliance processes. Right here is going to be the 3 pillars foundation within Bright Data. I'm going to start with our infrastructure and our tools, which is going to be comprised of our web unlocker, our proxy manager, our browser extension for Proxy Manager, our SERP API. Then we also have our patented protected residential proxies, which we pull from 72 million real user IPs worldwide. We have mobile proxies, ISP, and data center. Next here is going to be the web data collection and products, which is going to institute our data sets. Data sets, as an example, we would be Walmart, Amazon, any e-commerce site like that. We also have Web Scraper IDE, which is Bright Data's JavaScript IDE to build your own scrapers. You can get started with one of our ready-made templates, or we give you the tools to build your own as well. And last but not least is going to be the Bright Insights, which is the newest part of our foundation. It's a suite of machine learning-based products that optimize all aspects of e-commerce activities on various platforms. Here are some examples of different ways our customers utilize our products. We have e-commerce, which typically they keep track of competitor pricing in real time. We have travel, which comparing prices on competitor sites, monitor how users and customers plan travel, and forecast the next industry trends. And we have social media. Social media would be like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, dominates the industry on social media with smarter campaigns and understanding customer journeys. Just a kind of a brief insight of how Bright Data is comprised. More than half of the top 10 leading e-commerce sites work with us. 2 of the 5 leading U.S. banks and 87 of the 100 leading universities are with us as well. Here are some challenges in collecting data. Ever-changing website structure. Because sites keep changing their appearance, structure, how users interact with them, it means your developers should constantly improve your crawlers. Challenging escapability. Let's say you manage to build your own crawler on infrastructure that work perfect with your target site. Will it still work when you scale up? What will it take to maintain thousands of parallel requests? We also have blocking issues. Currently, sites use more sophisticated bot detection sites, and I'm blocking to make sure that you will not be able to even see the site, or the site gives you false information as well. Such anti-blocking mechanisms can take weeks of development. And lastly, we have resource heavy. Presently, to collect data on the scale is very resource heavy. And by that, I mean not only expensive infrastructure like servers and IP proxy networks, but also manpower, like developers, DevOps, QA. Next, we're going to be talking about data sets. Data sets will provide the data while you focus on the rest. Easy discovery. Tap into all the data points and URLs on the website, which is usually impossible to discover when you're collecting yourself. Accurate and complete. Get precise, fresh, and complete data sets covering millions of pages and tens of millions of data points. Enrich data, which increases the value and usability of your data set by integrating multiple data sources to create a valuable and rich data set. And various formats. We offer in JSON and DJSON, CSV, or Excel. And we have various delivery methods such as AWS, Google Drive, Google Cloud Storage, SFTP, and more.
All right. It's my
I'm
part
going to give
now.
it off to Rafael now. Thanks, Rafi.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for this lovely introduction of the company. Now, guys, you understand what the company does. What I want to do is actually go and show you the platform, go through a few things. So we're not going to be going through slides. I'm going to share my screen, load up the platform, and just literally show you what it's all about, what options you have with us, and what you can do. And give me a second to load up the screen. Ready. Do you guys see? I assume you do. Okay. So this is a Bright Data platform, right? As Zach mentioned, we have everything here, from the tools to collect the data, to the scripts to unlock the websites, to actually, building crawlers and the data sets. So we have everything here that you might need to get any kind of data. I'm going to quickly go through the proxies. These are the tools. This is basically the base foundation of the company that started, we wanted to make sure that we have all types of IPs to scrape different types of data. For those who are aware, scraping, you do need to change your IP, because scraping with the same IP is definitely going to get you blocked. So we do have all kinds of different IPs. And what Zach didn't mention is, when we are talking about the residential IP, this is a real device, a real PC of a person that allows us to use the resources, and we're sending a request through their computer. So the website sees that computer. Same thing for the mobile device. It's a physical phone that the request goes through, so the website sees that mobile device. On top of that, we did build extra scripts that enable easier scraping. For example, Unlocker. Unlocker is an AI that basically detects what the website needs. It connects to the website, it sees what the website requires, changes the cookies, headers, user agent, everything to match what the website needs, and then it does returns the data. So all you need to do, send a request. Even if it's a simple curl without any kind of anything, it will work. SERP, same thing as Unlocker, but more for search engine. For example, we have here a SERP API. So it works on Google, Bing, Yandex, and DuckDuckGo. And here, for example, you guys want to do you want to do a Google search. Since you're in the States, I'm relocated in Israel, so I usually do the searches in the States, but you guys can do it yourselves. Let's do a search on, let's say, maybe google.de. Oh, sorry, long branch. Right? I want to check in Germany. Let's keep the English going, so this way we can read it. Let's do a search for taxi. Regular search. I don't know, maybe Berlin. Check out what's in taxi Berlin. We're going to use a desktop device. No reason to do a mobile. And that's it. Right now, I'm literally going to do a search from Berlin in Germany for taxi. SERP supports two outputs, basically a full HTML page or already parsed JSON. Boom, right here we can see the results that we get when we do a search from Berlin. This is amazing because you can literally check the difference between country, cities, and so on, whatever your needs are. But obviously, the main product that I want to talk to you guys about today is the data collector. This is the flagship of the Bright Data right now. Um, Here in my demo account, I got it's a little mess. I should have probably cleaned up, but I have here 130 collectors for different websites. Some of the websites you might be familiar with, for example, Amazon.com. Everybody knows Amazon. I'm probably going to be demonstrating this collector because, well, everybody knows Amazon. Everybody knows how it works. It's easy to explain what is the flow. Collector can imitate any kind of human behavior. Go to the website, click here, type here, enter, do click here, and so on, right? So let's start with a small demonstration of what the collector does, right? So here we have an Amazon product search collector. Each collector has a few ways of being triggered. Obviously an API. So when we provide you a collector, or if you build a collector yourself on our platform, there will be an API endpoint through which you will be able to trigger the collector. You can initiate it manually on the UI, on the visual interface here where we are. And of course, you can set up a schedule. Let's say you want to monitor something, scan it every day, every 2 days, set up a schedule, keep it going. Right now, we're going to initiate it by manually. So obviously, each collector has letters, something that, we want you guys to be able to control the collector. We want, the collector shouldn't follow a straight line. You should be able to tell it what you want. So if this collector has two inputs, one input is a search. What are we going to be searching on Amazon? And how many pages of products are we going to go through, right? Sometimes you can do a search on iPhone. It's going to give you 200 pages. You don't really care what's on page 100. You only may be interested in the first 5 pages. So for this particular example, let's do iPhone 2 pages. Let's do Xbox 2 pages. And I don't know, let's check out what's PlayStation 5 2 pages. So I'm going to initiate it right now. And parallel to that, I'm going to do it manually, just so this way you can understand what is going on. So these collectors right now are going to Amazon.com, doing a search, Xbox, and then going through 2 pages of the products, going inside each of these products and pulling more details from there. And let's check it out. It's probably already finished. It's still running. We can see that it's 3 inputs. Let's wait for it to finish. But all the data that you see on the screen can be collected. If, for example, you're interested in seeing more sellers, can click this button, can load more, and so on. So these collectors can literally parse and collect any data that is publicly available out there. And the reason why I say publicly is because we do not do login. We are collecting data only without logging in, because when you are logging in, you're accepting terms and conditions. In a lot of terms and conditions, it says don't scrape the website. So as long as you don't accept the terms and conditions, you can scrape the public data. Everything is in the clear. This is usually it usually takes 11 seconds. My previous runs, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Interesting. Of course, on a webinar, it needs to get delayed. It's usually the case, when you're doing it without somebody watching, everything works fine. Here's a little delay, but it's going to work. I know it's going to work for sure. It's just I probably had to do a few retries, maybe page failed to load or something like that. While this is going on, right? So what are the benefits of a collector? What different opportunities you can do with it? I mean, imagine if you have, I don't know, an army of people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, and you want them to scrape the web for you. This is what the collector does. We can basically mimic a human behavior on scale. Hundreds of thousands, millions products can be monitored. Social media, hundreds of thousands of profiles can be monitored, and so on. Build a collector, enable it, and it's running. While it's running, let's keep going, guys. I want to show you under the hood. what it looks like, right? So as I mentioned before, you can build your own collectors with us. It's not only us building collectors for you. Anybody can build it. If you know a little bit of JavaScript, go to the code editor, and this is how this collector looks. This particular collector that does the Amazon search, it's 12 lines, 16 lines. It's literally like 50, 55 lines of code, the entire collector. Why? Because everything is under the hood. The proxy is under the hood. Oh, this is what I did. Huh? Before, when I was experimenting, I added the country US and the peers from Windows, and that's why but I don't remember saving it. Very weird. So basically, everything is under the hood, right? So let's say you want to choose a specific country IP that you want to use the proxy for. Country US. Okay, now we're going to be make sure that we're using a country United States. We're navigating to the URL, and then in JavaScript, basically we're parsing. In this particular step, we're just checking how many pages results they are, and then sending to the next page the pagination already, and then we're parsing. The parser is actually the biggest part, right? To define which part, what do you want to get? Okay, I want to get this is the title, this is the sponsors, and so on. But with this interface, guys, you can build collectors very fast. Me myself, I built collectors in under 20 minutes, half an hour. If you have an emergency project and you need to scrape something really fast, amazing solution. I mean, if we're talking about building a collector in Visual Studio, I don't know, you might need 600, 700 lines of code. This particular collector would be at least 700, maybe 800, depending, of the structure of the output that you want to format. Here, it's 50 lines of code. Nothing, easy. All the unlocking is done under the hood, so you don't have to worry about Amazon blocking us or anything like that. I'm really curious if it was done finally. So here, once it's done, right, you have an option of downloading what format you want the file in. I mean, I like JSON, but just for this demonstration, because most people are used to CSV format, I'm going to open it up in the CSV. And, it's a simple data set. As I said, it's for demonstration. There's nothing crazy going on here. Simple data that we're collecting. Sponsored reviews, pricing, features. We got the image as well. We got image set and so on. So here we can see the results that are collected for everything. So you can monitor the pricing. You can do different points of view. I don't know if everybody is familiar with that, but internet is actually kind of very dynamic. Depending on where you are visiting a website from is what you're going to see. For example, for me, I live in Israel. When I go to a shopping site, I see price A. Then I take a proxy from Germany, go to the same website, I see price B. And then I take a proxy from Great Britain, go to the same website, same product, see price C. Okay, and it's weird because every country gets a different pricing. There's a lot of dynamic things happening like that on the internet, and this product can actually help you monitor all of that. So, collector, build one, monitor, collect the data. And of course, the data sets. It's very important because data sets we already have. Some data sets you can check out. If you register with us, log into your account, you have here data sets, and you can browse data sets that we have available. LinkedIn people data sets, huge. We have about 150 million profiles, about 50 million company profiles. Anything that you might need, Amazon products, Walmart products, and this is something that's going to be growing exponentially. We're planning on getting hundreds more data sets within the next few months. Maybe even 1,000 within the next year. So basically, the idea here is that we are going to be able to cover all data collection needs, from the tools, basic proxies, IPs, to scripts that collect the data, to already structured and collected data. And of course, in the future, we're planning to also do analytics on that data. That is something that is coming up. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's not much more to cover here. If we do, do you think we should go into the details of actually, ID and how coding the collectors, or that might be a bit too technical for this webinar.
Yeah, that might be a little bit technical, but I think it would be, and I don't know, this is maybe a question more than anything else, but are you able to, you can obviously download the data, you know, in CSV or some other format, but are you able to connect the data to any third-party sources, whether
Of
it
course,
be like Google
deliveries.
Sheets or yeah, maybe show that. That would be interesting.
Sure. So, of course, I forgot to mention it, but yeah, output configuration. Output configuration can be set up in the code when you're writing the code. But let's say you already created a collector, you got 40 data points on it. It's a big collector. You don't want to edit the code. So each collector has an output configuration where you can literally rename it, rename the field, rearrange the format, change it, change what type of a data point it is. You can request the HTML body of the page, maybe a screenshot, okay, and timestamp and so on. So you can literally change the output format without any kind of code editing, just dragging and dropping things. And once you're done, update the collector. Boom, that's it. The output is going to match what you need. And the delivery preferences, right? As Art mentioned, it's very important. We collected all this data for you. We have 2 GB, 3 GB data set. What do we do with it? We need to send it somewhere, right? So we support quite a few delivery methods, more to come, but the main ones are API download. So as I mentioned before, each collector has an API point where you can trigger it. When you trigger a collector with an API, you get a job ID. Then you have another API point where with this job ID, you can pull the data, API download. Webhook. Webhook is probably one of the most popular ones if you want to have a full automation. Why? Because when we send you a data to your webhook, you can trigger a script that will process this data and then maybe trigger another collector. So you can have a whole chain of collectors, collector A triggered, ran, delivered data to webhook. Webhook processes the data, filters out what's needed, boom, sends it to collector 2 and collector 3. For example, social media. Social media is usually divided into 3 collectors. One is a search. For example, Instagram hashtag search. You want to know which people are posting regarding Nike shoes, right? So you do a Nike search, you got all the posts. So boom, we got, I don't know, 1,000 posts regarding Nike. Second collector is a post collector where you enter the post and you get back the account ID and the comments from the post. And the third collector is a profile collector, right? That goes and already finds the profile of the person. So with a webhook, you trigger the search. The search finds the 1,000 posts. Out of those 1,000 posts, according to your logic, you're only interested in 50. It automatically sends the 50 to the second collector and then to the third to get the people that are actually talking about it. So with the webhook, you can have a full automation with machine learning. Amazing delivery preference. But of course, Amazon S3, Google Cloud Storage, PubSub, Microsoft Azure, and SFTP is also available for you guys. Also, wanted to mention there's 2 types of collectors. We have a batch and a real-time collector. What is the difference? So a real-time collector is a collector that is also always on a standby waiting for a command, and as soon as it comes in, it starts doing it. As soon as this finishes, it sends the delivery. So for example, let's say you have a platform where people want to refresh the data. The requests come into the collector. They're done parallel to each other, 1, 2, 3, 10, 15, 20, 30, and the results are going back. On the job, it's more like an async. So why, the batch collection is usually done. Let's say you have 100,000 inputs that you want to send in. You send it in, it processes it for an hour or 2, and then returns the data. Very simple choices, and obviously notifications regarding success, if something is wrong, if something is not working. So these are the settings that you have available once you already have the collector built. And I think that pretty much covers everything, Art. Of course, guys, we have a lot of documentation As we mentioned before, the service is managed, so we can build these collectors for you. If you have no clue on how to code, you don't need that. You tell us, listen, guys, I need a collector that will go to site A, collect BCD. We will provide you this collector.
Yeah, what's really cool, I think, with the webhooks, especially for the the non-technical community, is that you could easily take that endpoint and pull the data probably through Zapier and connect to any app that's
Correct.
then connected to Zapier, which is really opens the doors if you're non-technical.
Yeah, webhook would solve all those problems. It's really hard to cover all the integrations out there, right? There's so many different things where people want the data ingested into. So webhook kind of opens that up because you can, convert it accordingly and inject it into whatever program, software, script you're using it in.
Awesome. Do you have, and this is another, I'm asking all kinds of questions, mostly because I'm curious, but can you also connect do you have a Google Sheets integration at all right now?
At this point, no. It is something that has been on the roadmap and should be available eventually. But at this point, no.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Cool. That's awesome. I mean, it's amazing. One, if you don't have a data set, there's lots of data sets there, but on top of that, you can, as you could see there pretty quickly, you could either build your own just through the visual builder, or if you need a little bit of help, you can reach out to you guys, or you could hire someone to write a little bit of JavaScript to build a custom scraper. I think the other thing that would be helpful, and again, if anyone has any questions that's on the call, just put them in the chat and we will answer them. But I think it would be good just to go over the pricing a little bit to show how that works when you're collecting data.
Zach, you want to cover the pricing? Because I'm here more for technical, but I saw a question from Franco, if I'm not mistaken, something about
I think
art
there was
gallery.
2 questions too. Let's see.
Let's address. Oh, okay. I found the chat. Okay, so Nicholas does want a demo for how to create a collector. Nicholas, maybe we will do another session in details because it's very easy, but it's a little bit of time consuming because you need to understand a little bit about how the website is built with the selectors. If you are familiar, Art, I don't know, maybe we can do another if we will have a lot of people want in details on how to. This is something that we can definitely accommodate as well. I have an art gallery. Is it possible to collect art auction data? Yes. As I said, Franco, as long as you don't log in, it's possible, right? So technically everything is possible. The limitations here are legal. So if you don't have to log into the art gallery in order to see the art, yes, you can collect it. So if you are, I don't know, monitoring an auction and you want to know what is the current price, instead of always sitting on the website, you can have a collector check it every 10 minutes and see, send you a file what the price is now, obviously.
Awesome.
Nicholas, no YouTube channel. We have a very friendly staff. Register with us. We will literally hold your hand through the process and guide you on how to. Worst case scenario, we can always do a one-on-one call once you are a customer. We have a lot of people that will be willing to help you and assist.
Another question here: what if you have a legal login because you subscribe to the service? Would there be any way to get the data then?
If you're doing it yourself, not a problem. As a company, your login is your login. So us as a company, we will not use your login for your data collector. But you can use our ID, build your own collector, log into your own account. That's totally fine. Again, as I mentioned, when you log in, make sure in terms and conditions you're not breaking any laws. Or, if the website tells you don't scrape us, just be careful.
Absolutely. Cool.
Zach, do you wanna cover the whole
The pricing?
the pricing, I guess, how it works?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. So with pricing, if you decide to go with our route with a managed collector, where we manage all of like what I talked about and then what Rafael talked about, if the website changes its interface at all, if there's bot protections and we change that in managed collector, we're going to charge based on the page load. And it also is determined based on the vertical, so which website you're on. If it's e-commerce versus a travel site, social media, there's different challenges to each site, as you can possibly imagine. So like travel sites, for example, tend to have more protections than others, so the pricing is different on that. So, for data sets, the pricing is just going to be completely determined on how many records you have, and there is a minimum threshold, but that's determined based on the industry as well. And if you wanted to have your own IDE, where it's your own self-made collector that Rafael went into a little bit of detail on, that's just going to be charged based on the page load as well. So it's just completely
Zach,
determined on your situation. Yeah.
I just want to add what a page load is.
Yes.
So just so you guys understand what a page load is, for example, you go to google.com, that's one page load. You do a search, click search, second page load is the results. You go to the website, that is the third page load. You go to a product, that is a fourth page load. So each time the page loads, or if we are doing API scraping, meaning that we're not using the HTML browser, we're sending an API request, each request is a page load.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when I come in, right? So when you speak with me, I identify what your case is, and we do like a full walkthrough on the website, exactly what you're trying to attain for success, what websites, and then we want to figure out how many different page loads gets to the end result of what page you want to scrape, right? Because like you said, it's like a roadmap, and we want to identify what the home base is, go through the whole process, so when we get to the ends of the call, we have a good idea of what we're looking at in terms of price. And we definitely work with all different types of verticals, and I'll be happy to help on that.
I guess, guys, any more questions?
Yeah, if there's not any more questions, I'll give it one more second to see if any other come through. But just like, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys? How to reach out? I mean, obviously your website, but if you want to provide any more information, that would be great as well.
I think the best way is to just go on a website and register, right? Automatically, somebody from accounting will be a manager will be assigned to you. Right away, you will have all the credentials, including Skype. I'm not sure, Zach. Do we share phone numbers? I think so, right?
Yeah, we have phone numbers, email, Skype, Slack,
everything.
Everything. Whichever way you prefer to get in contact, we'll find a way to accommodate that.
And and another really good thing about Bright Data, guys, is that we do support, right? So we're not one of those companies that you register and then you wait for 2-3 days to get an answer regarding something. We're there, we're live. We're a company of over, like, how many? 400 people now?
450. Yeah.
Right. So we're the biggest data collection company out there, and it shows. It shows that if you will have any questions, we will have answers.
Yeah, every time zone, so if you're in one specific part of the United States, we got reps in the Pacific time zone, Central, East, everywhere. So we'll be very expedient in response to you on any inquiries.
Just Zach, just to cover that, we got people in Spain, UK, Italy. We're literally going all the way to. No, nobody in Japan. Almost. But
Right.
yes, we're literally 24/7. There's somebody available.
Yep.
That's awesome. And your product is really the entry level is not just enterprise, right? Individuals can use the product without much problem.
As Zach mentioned before, the Bright Initiative, we're actually dealing with a lot of research students. We are providing literally proxy for their test environments. We don't even charge them. We have we working how many universities we work with, like 20 different. I don't know. We're working with a lot of beginners as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I feel like a lot of products like this are pretty much geared just solely towards enterprise, and the entry point is very, very high from a technical standpoint and from a cost standpoint. But I think you've broken down a lot of those barriers. So very cool to see.
There is an entry point, right? But since you can develop it yourself, literally like put $20 in your account, develop yourself, and go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, guys. Well, no other questions came through, I don't think. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for doing this. Again, this has been recorded. We'll email it out and we'll publish it on our YouTube channel and our webpage. And then yeah, maybe we could do another session, sometimes next year where
Maybe
we
more
can cover
details.
that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, happy to
Pleasure.
do them. All right,
It was
guys.
a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Take care.
Yes, bye.
Bye.